Those and many more other stories coming up in our bulletin this evening. The news is also live across our social media handles on MBN 360, Facebook, YouTube, X. The President, John Dramani Mahama, has appealed to break Ghana's long-standing cycle of post-regime accountability disputes, stressing the need for stronger institutions, fairness, and national unity over politically motivated referrals.
President John Dramani Mahama says his administration is determined to end the recurring pattern where successive governments pursue investigations and accountability measures that often become politically contentious after a change in power. Addressing stakeholders, the president emphasized that while public officials must remain accountable for their actions, accountability mechanisms should be guided by the rule of law, transparency, and strong institutions rather than partisan interests. According to him, Ghana's democratic progress depends on building systems that ensure justice and accountability, regardless of which political party is in government. He noted that strengthening government institutions would help promote public confidence and prevent governance from being characterized by cycles of political retaliation. The president further reiterated his commitment to good governance, anti-corruption efforts, and institutional reforms aimed at safeguarding the public interest while preserving national cohesion. His remarks come amid ongoing national conversations about governance, accountability, and the role of state institutions in ensuring transparency and responsible leadership. The president expressed confidence that a more institutionalized approach to accountability would deepen Ghana's democracy and contribute to long-term political stability.
Government of Ghana has advised its citizens to avoid non-essential travel to South Africa until further notice, citing emerging concerns that could affect safety and well-being of Ghanaian travelers.
The government of Ghana has issued a travel advisory urging Ghanaians to reconsider non-essential trips to South Africa. According to the advisory, the decision is intended to safeguard Ghanaian citizens amid developments that authorities believe warrant increased caution. Travelers with urgent or unavoidable reasons to visit South Africa have been encouraged to stay informed, comply with local regulations, and maintain contact with Ghana's diplomatic missions. Government officials say the advisory forms part of broader efforts to protect citizens abroad and ensure they have access to timely information regarding potential risks. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has also urged Ghanaians currently residing in or visiting South Africa to remain vigilant, monitor official updates, and follow guidance issued by local authorities. The government reaffirmed its commitment to the welfare of Ghanaians overseas and indicated that the travel advisory will be reviewed as the situation evolves. Further details are expected as authorities continue to assess developments and engage with relevant stakeholders.
Away from that story, President John Dramani Mahama has presented Ghana as a prime destination for investment in Africa, inviting investors in the United Kingdom to take advantage of the country's economic reforms, political stability, and expanding business opportunities.
President John Dramani Mahama has renewed efforts to attract foreign direct investment by positioning Ghana as Africa's next major investment hub during engagements with business leaders and investors in the United Kingdom. Speaking at a high-level investment forum in London, the president highlighted Ghana's strategic location, democratic credentials, youthful workforce, and ongoing economic reforms as key advantages for investors seeking opportunities on the African continent. He noted that his administration is committed to creating a business-friendly environment through policy stability, improved infrastructure, enhanced transparency, and support for private sector growth. The president identified priority sectors including agriculture, manufacturing, energy, technology, tourism, and infrastructure, emphasizing that Ghana remains open for business and ready to partner with international investors. According to him, the government's economic transformation agenda is designed to promote sustainable growth, create jobs, and position Ghana as a gateway to regional markets under the African Continental Free Trade Area. President Mahama further assured investors of his government's commitment to protecting investments and strengthening institutions that support trade and commerce. The engagement forms part of the president's working visit to the United Kingdom, aimed at deepening economic cooperation and attracting investments to support Ghana's development priorities.
We took decisive action through disciplined economic management, institutional reforms, fiscal consolidation, and enhanced coordination between monetary and fiscal authorities. We have restored stability and renewed confidence in the Ghanaian economy. Inflation has declined significantly from 23.8% in December 2024 to 3.4% as of April 2026. Our international reserves have strengthened considerably, rising from approximately $8.9 billion to nearly $13.9 billion, providing stronger external buffers and exchange rate stability. Interest rates are easing. The Ghanaian cedi has stabilized and appreciated against major international currencies, and Ghana's sovereign credit outlook has improved following recent upgrades by international rating agencies. Most importantly, business confidence is returning. These improvements are not abstract macroeconomic indicators. They translate into a more predictable investment environment, lower operating uncertainty, greater currency stability, and improved planning conditions for businesses and investors. Ghana's economy expanded by approximately 6% GDP in 2025, and our GDP has now crossed the 114 billion mark, making Ghana the 8th largest economy in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, our vision is clear. We're building a productive, export-oriented, industrialized, and technology-driven economy that creates opportunities for our people and competitive returns for investors. We're aligning policy, infrastructure incentives, skills development, transport systems, power reliability, and financing mechanisms to support businesses operating beyond traditional working hours. This initiative presents...
And that was the President John Dramani Mahama. The British High Commissioner to Ghana has described the relationship between Ghana and the United Kingdom as one built on strong foundation, highlighting decades of cooperation in trade, governance, education, security, and development.
The United Kingdom's envoy to Ghana has reaffirmed the strength of bilateral relations between the two countries, describing the UK-Ghana partnership as one anchored on shared values, mutual respect, and long-standing cooperation. Speaking during a diplomatic engagement, the envoy noted that Ghana and the United Kingdom continue to collaborate across several sectors, including trade and investment, education, healthcare, security, climate action, and democratic governance. The diplomat praised Ghana's democratic credentials and its role as a key partner in West Africa, emphasizing the UK's commitment to supporting Ghana's economic growth and development aspirations. According to the envoy, the relationship between the two countries has evolved beyond traditional development cooperation to include stronger commercial partnerships, investment opportunities, and people-to-people exchanges. The remarks come as President John Dramani Mahama undertakes a working visit to the United Kingdom aimed at strengthening economic ties and attracting investment into Ghana. The envoy expressed optimism about the future of UK-Ghana relations, stating that both countries remain committed to expanding cooperation in ways that deliver tangible benefits for their citizens.
In another story, the Municipal Chief Executive for Ablekuma West Assembly has stressed that public safety consideration must remain the primary factor in this decisions regarding the demolition of unauthorized or hazardous structures within the municipality.
The municipal chief executive for Ablekuma West has underscored the importance of prioritizing public safety in all demolition exercises, insisting that such actions must be carried out in the interest of protecting lives and property. According to the MCE, structures identified as unsafe, illegally sited, or obstructing critical public infrastructure pose significant risks to residents and require decisive action from local authorities. The MCE explained that while demolition exercises can be difficult and sometimes controversial, authorities have a responsibility to ensure that developments comply with planning regulations and do not endanger public safety. He further noted that the Assembly remains committed to due process, stakeholder engagement, and adherence to legal procedures before any demolition activity is undertaken. The comments come amid ongoing discussions about urban planning, unauthorized developments, and efforts to improve safety standards across communities within the municipality. The Assembly has urged residents and developers to obtain the necessary permits and comply with building regulations to avoid future enforcement actions. Officials say strengthening planning enforcement and promoting...
Now let's move to the corridors of politics, where the Council of Elders of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, has directed party members and prospective aspirants to refrain from engaging in early campaign for the party's 2028 presidential race, emphasizing the need for unity, focus on governance.
The National Democratic Congress Council of Elders has moved to halt premature presidential campaign activities ahead of the 2028 general elections. In a directive issued to party members, the council cautioned against any form of unofficial campaigning, endorsements, or activities that could be interpreted as an attempt to launch an early bid for the party's presidential nomination. According to the council, the NDC's immediate priority should be supporting the government's agenda and delivering on promises made to Ghanaians rather than engaging in succession politics. Party elders expressed concern that premature campaign activities could create unnecessary divisions within the party and distract attention from national development and governance. The council further urged members at all levels to uphold party discipline, promote unity, and adhere to the structures and timelines that will eventually govern the party's internal electoral processes. The directive comes amid growing speculation over potential contenders for the NDC's presidential ticket in the 2028 elections, despite the party's focus on its current governing mandate. Observers say the move is aimed at preserving cohesion within the party while ensuring that attention remains on governance and policy implementation.
And from the NDC cortices, we go for a commercial break. When we return, it will be business on the Mega News Assist with Na Dede Gogo.
Let me introduce you to Farm Global Company Limited. At Farm Global, we offer you a variety of groceries and provisions to choose from: cosmetics, perfume, bedsheets, undies, boxes, you can mention all. This is our perfume stand, and we have variety of perfumes you can choose from for yourself and your loved ones. We cover Latapa, fragrance notes, and quality perfumes that will last long on your body. On our cosmetic section, we have variety of lotions, creams, hair pomade that can keep you going. Let your feet do the talking and your hand do the showcasing. Your babies are not left out. We got you covered. At Farm Global, we make shopping a beautiful experience for you and your family. You can be at home, Send your list and get it delivered for free. Yes, for free. We know you can pay for it, but we want to show appreciation. We bring everything to you at your doorstep. Locate Farm Global on the Lungwa Boade Road, just opposite Redeemer Chemist. Call us on 0592 0999 52 or 050 384 3633. Farm Global, fast, reliable, and convenient.
Welcome back from that break. In business, thousands of customers of Equity Savings and Loans are reportedly struggling to access their funds aim, growing concerns over institutions' financial stability, raising fears of a potential collapse and renewed anxiety within Ghana's financial system.
Thousands of depositors are facing uncertainty as concerns mount over the operations of Equity Savings and Loans, with customers reportedly unable to access their savings and investment. Affected customers say delay in withdrawals and limited access to funds have created significant hardship for individuals, businesses, and families who depend on the institution for their financial transactions. The situation has triggered fears of possible financial collapse, with many depositors calling on regulators and government authorities to intervene and provide clarity on the status of the company. Financial sector observers warn that the development could reignite public concerns about the safety of deposits, particularly following Ghanaia's banking and financial sector cleanup exercise, which saw several savings and loans, finance houses, and microfinance institutions lost their license in previous years. Customers are demanding urgent action to protect their investments and ensure transparency regarding the institution's financial position. Meanwhile, regulatory authorities are expected to closely monitor developments as stakeholders call for measures to safeguard depositors and maintain confidence in the financial system. The situation continues to attract public attention, with many affected customers hoping for swift intervention to prevent further financial distress.
Also, President John Dramani Mahama has announced a major policy shift aimed at boosting value addition in cocoa sector, declaring that Ghana will require at least 50% local processing of cocoa before export.
President John Dramani Mahama says Ghana is set to implement a policy requiring that at least half of all cocoa produced in the country undergo local processing before being exported. He explained that the move is part of a border industrialization agenda designed to increase value addition, create jobs, and maximize earnings from Ghana's cocoa industry rather than relying heavily on raw bean exports. The president noted that the policy will help strengthen Ghana's position in the global cocoa value chain while supporting local processors, manufacturers, and agro-industrial investors. He emphasized that expanding domestic processing capacity will not only increase revenue but also generate employment opportunities across the agriculture and manufacturing sector. The announcement comes as Ghana continues efforts to stabilize its economy through export diversification and industrial transformation, with cocoa remaining one of the country's key foreign exchange earners. Government officials say the policy will be implemented in phases to ensure that processing facilities are expanded and adequately supported to meet the new requirements. Stakeholders in the cocoa value chain are expected to be engaged to ensure smooth implementation and to address the potential supply chain challenge. The president reaffirmed his commitment to transforming Ghana from a raw commodity exporter into a value-added production hub within the global market.
This brings us to the end of the business news. Up next is sports and entertainment with Fire. Aye.
Welcome back from that big break. In the world of sports, Ghana's senior women national team, the Black Queens, have withdrawn from a three-nations breakthrough tournament in Tanzania ahead of the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations, raising questions over the team's build-up to the continental competition.
Black Queens have pulled out of the upcoming Three Nations International Tournament scheduled to take place in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, during the June FIFA International window. The tournament was expected to feature Ghana, hosts Tanzania, and Malawi as part of the preparations for the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations. It was seen as an important opportunity for the technical team to assess players, strengthen team chemistry, and maintain competitive momentum ahead of the Continental Championship. The Ghana Football Association had earlier announced the team's participation, describing the competition as a key component of the Black Queens' preparations for WAFCON 2026. However, reports indicate that Ghana has now withdrawn from the tournament, although no official reason has been publicly provided for the decision. The development comes as several African nations intensify preparations for the Women's African Cup of Nations, with friendly matches and training camps being used to fine-tune squads ahead of the tournament. Attention is now expected to turn to the Ghana Football Association and the technical team for updates on alternative preparations as the Black Queens continue to build up to WAFCON 2026.
Now in entertainment, Ghanaian rapper and songwriter Kwesi Arthur has announced a special intimate concert in London as part of his Redemption Valley tour, giving fans a unique live experience in one of the United Kingdom's most iconic music venues.
Award-winning Ghanaian music star Kwesi Arthur is set to thrill fans in London with an exclusive live performance under his Redemption Valley Experience tour. The highly anticipated event will take place at the renowned XOYO venue, which is known for hosting intimate, high-energy performances and providing fans with a closer connection to artists. Organizers say the show will feature an 800-capacity audience, creating an up-close and personal atmosphere for attendees. Kwesi Arthur announced the event through his social media platforms, inviting fans in the United Kingdom and across Europe to be part of what is expected to be a memorable night of music and live entertainment. The concert forms part of activities surrounding the Redemption Valley project, which continues to receive attention from fans and music enthusiasts both in Ghana and internationally. Industry observers say The London show reflects the growing global appeal of Ghanaian music and the increasing international presence of Ghanaian artists on major stages around the world. The event is expected to bring together music lovers from diverse backgrounds while further strengthening Kwesi Arthur's connection with his overseas fan base.
Up next is international news with El Samuels.
On an international front, Nigerian police force has issued a strong warning against reprisal attacks on South African nationals and businesses, urging citizens to remain calm amidst rising tension linked to the report of xenophobic incidents.
The Nigeria police force has cautioned citizens against taking the law into their own hands by launching reprisal attacks on South Africans or South African-owned businesses within the country. Authorities say the warning follows growing public anger and online calls for retaliation in response to reported attacks on foreign nationals in parts of South Africa. The police emphasized that Nigeria remains a law-abiding state where grievances must be addressed through diplomatic and legal channels rather than violence or vigilantism. Security agencies have also been placed on alert to prevent any breakdown of law and order, particularly in areas with significant foreign business presence. Officials are urging community leaders, youth groups, and opinion leaders to help calm tensions and discourage any form of violence that could escalate diplomatic strain between the two countries. The Nigerian government is expected to engage diplomatic channels to address concerns while ensuring the protection of Nigerians living abroad and foreign nationals within its borders. Authorities reaffirmed their commitment to maintaining peace, protecting lives and property, and preventing any actions that could threaten national security or international relations.
Away from Nigeria, the United States says it has carried out strikes on Iranian radar and air defense sites, whilst Iranian forces have reportedly launched missiles and drone attacks targeting American military positions in Kuwait, marking a sharp escalation in already regional attention.
The United Nations military says it has conducted self-defense strikes on Iranian radar and drone command and control facilities following what it describes as aggressive Iranian actions, including the downing of a U.S. surveillance drone operating over international waters. According to U.S. Central Command, the strikes targeted Iranian air defense systems, ground control stations, and drone assets accessed to pose threats to maritime operations in the Gulf region. In a swift response, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps reportedly launched missile and drone attacks targeting a U.S. military base in Kuwait, where air defense systems were activated to intercept incoming threats. Kuwaiti authorities confirmed that Their air defenses engaged hostile aerial targets, though officials did not immediately provide details on damage or casualties. The exchange marks one of the most serious escalations in recent weeks as tensions continue to rise in the Gulf region amid ongoing disputes over security, maritime routes, and stalled diplomatic negotiations. International observers warned that continued retaliation from both sides could further destabilize the region and disrupt global energy routes passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Efforts toward de-escalation are reportedly ongoing, but officials on both sides continue to signal readiness for further military action if attacks persist.
And this brings us to the end of this evening news at 6 p.m. live and direct from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. The news was also live across our social media handles on MBN 360. But before we take leave of you, we take a second look at the stories making headlines.
Mahama pledges to end the cycle of political retribution and post-regime accountability battles. In business, thousands of depositors locked out as Equity Savings and Loans faces collapse fears. And on the international front, Nigeria police warn against reprisal attacks targeting South Africans.
For more news, log on to MBN 360. My name is El Samuels. Thanks for staying with us.